I don't get that. A meeting, we're about to have a sit down. Wrap the phone up in plastic and stick it in the fridge. They know what we are, but they don't know what we did. Anything about a mixer, murder getting sick.
All right, well, hey, fellas, thanks for coming out today, man. It's good to have you. Appreciate the ride last night. Out smashing the bikes, having a good one, bro. How we do it. Anyway, let me introduce myself real quick. I'm Garret.G3, Instagram handle. Specialize in business, systems, processes. Help you scale and exit. Got Brad and Taylor out. Go ahead and introduce yourself, fellas.
Yeah, what's going on, man? I'm Brad Dunn. I'm CEO of Reliant Fitness, a coaching business based off of fitness, nutrition, and discipline. Helping people get in great shape, learning about basic nutrition, and developing an unbreakable mindset. Because those items, in my mind, are necessary if you want to be successful in any facet in life. Former mechanic, spent about 10 years turning wrenches, worked for Cal Fire for a couple years. So I'm not new to fitness. I'm just new to the online space, but I've already developed a ton of momentum. I have upwards of almost 300 clients, generating close to 6 figures a month in revenue. So I'm here and I'm here to stay. Let's get after it.
How do I top that? What's up, guys? I'm Taylor Thrasher. My Instagram is taylor.thrasher.fit. I do something real similar. I'm an online fitness and nutrition coach, teaching people, discipline with their workouts, their nutrition, their habits, their mindset. And it's crazy, man, just what people will do with their lives, like when they can start getting disciplined with their fitness. I mean, I've got guys on my program that since starting, they're starting their own businesses. They're leveling up their careers. They're getting shredded. They're getting big. They're putting on muscle. Like, there's all these different things. It affects every facet of your life. You know what I mean? And so I'm really in the business of providing people the tools to change their entire life. And that's what we're about over here at Taylor Thrasher Fit.
Legit.
And it sounds to me, Taylor, like you recently changed your life, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about quitting the job, the 9 to 5. I actually watched the story, bro. I was hella pumped up, stoked about it. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about you. How fitness and your mindset and this shift helped you change your life.
Yeah, so recently, big change. I've been a blue-collar worker since I was like 15 or 16 years old. I started out, working on a neighbor's ranch, helping him build that. I became a framer. I was framing custom homes in Southern California. And then I got into the dirt business, and I was in the dirt business for about 10 years as a grader. I got into Local 12. That's the local union down in Southern California and San Diego, running heavy equipment, doing grade checking. And I thought that was going to be my life, dude, but signed up with Brad here as my coach. And he started showing me the ropes, as far as just getting in the best shape of your life, changing your mindset. And I was like, dude, I want to help people do the same thing. So I started helping doing the same thing, right? Doing the coaching. And yeah, that allowed me to get out of that career that I thought I was going to have for my entire life. Within 6 months of making my first sale, I dipped out. I put in my 2 weeks notice, and now I'm doing coaching full time, and it's crazy what your mindset will do, dude. It's all about your mindset, right? You've got to tell yourself that you're a bad dude and wake up every day and do that, and then be that bad dude, live it, and yeah, your life will be flipped upside down quicker than you even thought was possible,
Hell yeah. And you guys are really a representation of, like, I did a post the other day, or a reel actually, about like 2 things are going to happen in life. You're either going to discipline yourself, right? Or you're going to receive discipline from an outside source, right? Whether it's God or whether it's like,
law
enforcement, right? Or whatever it is, right? And so you have the choice. There's no getting out of being a disciplined individual in life, right? And again, so I wake up every day and I choose to discipline myself, and I choose to surround myself with other people that are disciplined. And why? Because I want to have that level up. If I'm feeling weak for a day, I want to see that you're up at 3 a.m., right? I want to see that you guys are working out. And everyone talks about fitness and diet and nutrition, and then we segue that into business. And for me, that's always been the foundation that I use to grow my business. Right? And coincidentally, you guys are a great example of that, because you're in the fitness business, but like without being disciplined with the mindset and the fitness, you could never actually have a business to teach that.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because the discipline that you practice with self, like we said, you know, it pours over into other facets of life. If you are disciplined with yourself, if you have a strong regiment or a strong structure that you can rely on, that is going to pour into how you do business. You know, if you're up early and willing to grind and do all the other things that other people won't, you will have the things that other people don't. And that's plain and simple everything that it is. And so many people have gotten so soft and so lazy and so complacent that if you just choose to do a couple core things every fucking day, whether you feel like it or not, you are going to beat almost everybody. Because in a world like we have today with a bunch of soft ass motherfuckers, like, it's impossible not to win. It just depends on how bad you want it and who you're willing to get around to make it happen. And that's like the biggest thing, man. Like, Taylor got with me to learn how to coach. I put him up on game. I taught him what worked for me. You know, I learned from Wes. Wes gave me a system that was effective for me, and I took bits and pieces and I applied it in my own way. And I taught Taylor how to do that, and he's been successful in helping people, you know, level up their life, getting fit, developing business strategies, you know. And now we're here with Garret. Garrett's gonna lace us up on stuff to help us. You know, we've come into a level of success. We've been making money that we've never made before in our entire lives. So it's like, what do we do with it? So we get around an OG that's been doing business, been making money, and he's gonna tell us not only what to do with it, but how to keep more of it, because that's important. You start making money, you wanna keep your money, right? I fucking do.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the name of the game. And so, you know, when we talk about, you know, utilizing the gifts that God's given us and taking our collective experience to help others, you guys have done just that, right? You guys have taken your collective experience with fitness, diet, nutrition, discipline, and you're giving back to the community, right? You're giving back to the world. And so I see these transformations on your guys' page of these other individuals you're working with, and it's just like life-changing, right? I mean, these guys walk into a room. Imagine if you could like pan to a video of a guy walking into a room when he's out of shape, he's soft, the level of confidence that he exudes is like minimum, right?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden he walks into the room, he's in shape, you changed his life, he's shredded, he's jacked, he's like disciplined. He presents an entirely different aura, right? An entire different aura. And so, you know, this is like single-handedly how we're changing the world, right?
Totally.
And that's what I'm committed to doing too, right? Like, I love taking guys that are new to money, right? New to business. And I'll be like, look, here's the 10 things not to do, right? That I did to fuck up a bunch of stuff. But then here's the other 10 things to do to like protect and preserve your money, right? Build your wealth, build your credit, you know, how to really exponentially expand your success to the next level, right? And one of the cool things about the online space that I'm learning is the fact that, you know, when you get around people, right, in the online space who have been there, done that, are successful, you can really level up a lot faster. You can cut in line, right? Which, I mean, let's look at Taylor, right? So you helped him level up in like 6 months, quit his job, right? So you compressed all your experience and distilled it down into like this package for, you know, 2-3 months, and all of a sudden he's killing it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I intend to do for you guys, right? Yeah, it's like, all right, well, here's the 15 years of experience and bullshit I had to go through to like come here. So let me compress that down, and you guys can cut in line. And like, I want to see you successful and level up because I want to be around the best dudes.
Yeah, and that's huge. I mean, like that time compression. You know, just like you said, 6 months for him. You know, you're gonna try to do the same thing for us. And that's the same thing across the board for me. It's like, I'm not new to fitness, you know, I just found a better way to do it. You know, I used to work as a trainer. I used to have all these certifications. You know what I mean? I spent, like you said, 10 or 15 years doing it the wrong fucking way. And then I started paying attention to these small tweaks, these small things, getting around people who are like, hey man, do this, try that. You know, and you pay them, you know, for this knowledge that they have. Same thing. They've got to a certain point, they charge for an area of expertise. And that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned over the past year is get around people and invest in people that you want to learn from in any area of interest, business, fitness, real estate, fucking, I don't give a shit what it is. Just get with somebody who you want to work with that can teach you how to do better in life. And, you know, I learned how to do this stuff in a better way and how to market it in a certain fashion. And it fortunately took the fuck off. You know what I mean? So why wouldn't you know, if you're out there getting into business or you want to get in shape, why wouldn't you listen to someone who has roughly 15 years of experience, but it's like, hey, I took 15 years to get to this point, but I did more in 1 year than I did in all those 15 because I listened to this guy. He told me how to do this and how to do that. And I made these small critiques in my daily routine in my life, and it made all of the difference. And now I can compress those 15 years for you into 6 fucking months. You know what I mean? What's the value in that? It's exponential.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, really. Go ahead, Taylor. You're going to say something?
Yeah, so something I've noticed is like some people are so arrogant that they won't learn from other people's mistakes.
Totally.
So, dude, plan on a long road and probably a longer road, right? Like you can take those 15 years and like you guys said, compress it into 6 months. Well, dude, you're 15 years ahead of that dude that taught you, right? Like you could surpass the dude that taught you real quick because you're so much further ahead. But the other thing that I've learned too is like, it's simple. Business is simple, dude. Getting in shape is simple. Like the simplification is so huge. Everybody thinks it's so complicated, but if somebody lays out steps for you, just follow the steps. Put in the work. 100%. So many people will hit me up, and I know they hit you up, and they probably do the same thing, and they're like, I just don't think these macros are right. Well, these workouts don't seem complex enough for me to get the physique that I want. And it's like, dude, it's the stuff that I did that got me in shape that got us talking in the first place, right? You see the physique. It ain't fake, but it ain't rocket science either, dude.
Yeah,
And like you were explaining earlier about business, like the light bulb that goes off when you explain the simplicity. Because for us, having not done a lot of it before, it's like, oh, it's so complicated. I don't know how I'll ever figure it out.
Paperwork and codes.
Yeah,
and numbers and this
179 tech, but like you got all these numbers and tax deferred exchanges, but if you break it down, it's so easy. And if you follow the steps, dude, you're stupid if you don't make it, basically.
Right, like Taylor and I were talking about, okay, well, when's the right time to buy a truck, right? Like, do I buy a car? Do I lease a car? You know, like, how do I deduct the vehicle? You know, how's that work with the business if I finance it? And all these complexities are real simple. It's like, okay, here's a list, dude, 5 steps, right? And like you talk about, you know, a lot of things don't click for people because they want it to be complicated. Right? It's like, well, what do you eat, bro? Well, I eat like 5 foods. I eat chicken, I eat rice, I eat oatmeal, I eat steak, and sometimes I eat salmon. Like, well, that's it? Well, yeah, bro, that's it.
That's all you need.
Right? Like,
but what's the secret ingredient?
Yeah,
everybody
right?
wants the secret. It's the hard work is the secret.
The secret? Consistency. Doing the same simple things over and over and over and over and over until it makes you sick. But consistency will bring more success than anything. Like the big homie says, there's nothing more consistent than an unsuccessful person continuing to do the same thing every day. That is almost the textbook definition of insanity too. You do the same thing over and over and over and you're not getting the desired result. Something needs to change. You're missing something in your plan. And that is why you get around someone like us. They can teach you and show you, they can pick apart your game and show you where you're weak. And it's like, hey man, you're doing all the right things, but you just make this one little tweak and then everything fucking lines up. That's
100%.
all it is.
Yeah. And I talk about this a lot with my son, right? You know, national champion wrestler, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, all these different disciplines. They're like, well, how did you get him that good? It's like, well, I found the best people, right? And I asked a lot of questions, and I wasn't ashamed or shy to be like, hey, can you help me? Right? Like, and that's how I got good at everything I'm good at, you know? And so it's cutting in line, right? It's hacking the system. It's, you know, how do we go from point A to point Z and miss all the bullshit in the middle, right? And so that's really what we're trying to do in every aspect of our life, whether it's business or whether it's fitness or whether it's like parenting or whatever it is that you want to be good at. You just have to literally, you know, find the right people, ask a lot of questions, and do what they tell you.
Totally.
Right?
You have to put yourself in that room, in that pool, and like you said, not be shy, not be afraid. And sometimes it takes a matter of money, dollars to get in there, but it's worth it. Or it just takes, you know, like you said, just walking up to them and be like, hey man, how do I do this? How does this work? You know, because some people are super rad. They'll just break it down for you in a simple way. And that, I mean, if they're gracious enough to like give you that knowledge like that, then you better fucking use it. You better put it into play in some way, shape, or form, because that little tidbit that you were just given could change your life. You know what I mean? And it's like the overcomplication of things is so, it's detrimental. You know, it's like, hey man, just hold on to these same like 4 or 5 core values, and I guarantee if you just do it over and over and over and over, you will get somewhere a lot faster than if you were like, it doesn't make sense because it's too fucking simple. You know, like It doesn't need to make sense. Just do it. It's less thinking, more action. You know.
So to touch on what you just said a second ago, Brad, about it taking some money potentially to get into that position, like you have to be willing to make the investment in yourself. And a lot of my following is, the blue collar guys, the Harley guys. We're working construction, we're working factory jobs. Like there isn't a ton of money, but my life didn't change until I invested a chunk of money into myself. You know why I did that? Because I'm worth it. And a lot of these guys are in the mindset where they just don't think that they're worth it, right? But they're also, at the same time, they're out there blowing money on drugs, alcohol, wheels for their cars, TVs. I mean, our program costs like what a TV costs, which does nothing positive for you.
Right.
But our program could literally change your entire life. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you could become a millionaire, you could be in better shape you've ever been in, you could be in bodybuilding competitions down the road because you proved to yourself that you can actually have a physique. You were talking about the aura that you present when you walk into a room,
time.
right? Like,
Yeah.
dude, you got to show up and you got to be that dude.
Yeah.
And you can be that dude, but it's going to take some investing in yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you quit going to Jack in the Box and you quit walking out of 7-Eleven every day, hey, construction workers, I freaking see you guys every day with the 2 packs of Marlboro Reds, lunch, which is the Slim Jim and the bag of chips, and
Right.
2 Monsters, dude, you could change your entire life.
Yeah, and what
Your
is that?
family's life.
12 to 15 bucks.
That's probably
2 packs of
$2 a
Marlboros,
day.
so
That's
you're looking at like
over
$30.
$20 right there. But dude,
$30.
I would see it every single day. But think about the badass dad that you're going to become, right? Because it's going to affect that. The badass homeboy you're going to be to your boys. Instead of going out drinking, you're like, hey, dude, let's go hit the gym. And then you're a
Right.
group of savages versus a bunch of soft, pudgy, slurring, puking in the parking lot, dumbasses
Pathetic,
like
bro.
we've all been before.
Yeah.
We've all
Yeah.
done it. Like, we're not different than anybody else.
But that's
We-
the level up, is going through that and realizing that that lifestyle is not going to produce the life that you want to live. So you have to remove those aspects, the money, the time, the effort that you're spending in these negative avenues, and put it into positive things that are going to make you grow. You know what I mean? And you guys both said the same thing. When you get into that better shape, you become that better person, and you walk into a room, that energy demands attention. I don't care who the fuck you are. If you went through the process of working on yourself, I don't care if it's 90 days, 6 months, 1 year, if you really dedicated a fraction of that time to really building something, your energy is going to come off completely different. And I guarantee your level of self-worth is going to be through the fucking roof, and you're going to start making more money, you're going to start making better decisions. Life is just going to be better for you all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the cost of like plugging in with you guys, right? It's
Yeah.
like $8 a day, $10 a day, whatever it is. It's nothing, right? I mean, these people go to Starbucks, 7-Eleven, buy Monsters. I mean, I walk in, I got 2 Gatorades the other day for my buddy and I, and a water, $15.
Jesus. Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm going like, and I make good money, bro, right? And I'm going like, this is a ripoff. I can't afford this. What the fuck, But it's just a joke, right? So invest in yourself, and had I known that earlier on in my career, I probably could have saved myself 10 years of bullshit, right? I probably could have sold my company 5 years faster. But, I was an island to myself. I thought I knew it all. I was arrogant, right? And I was like hell-bent and determined to make my own mistakes. And I suffered from them, right? And so, if I would have understood the way the coaching world works, and I would have got a mentor, and I would have had somebody helping me, and I would have had a business coach, and I would have had somebody that knows how to scale, I had a service-based business, an exit to get me out of the middle of it, and they could have told me, like, bro, here's how you need to structure this. Here's the system. Here's the process. Here's the way that you need to do business from the very beginning. I could have avoided all the bullshit, sold my company, got out of the middle, done something different, right? Invested into other different avenues that could have paid me more of a passive income and had a better life, right? For my kids, for my family, and it's no different. So whether it's fitness, whether it's business, the whole goal is to exercise discipline, right? Level up mentally, physically, and then when it comes to business, level up in a manner that allows you more flexibility with your time, right? Because that's the one commodity we don't get more of, right? It's like there's a finite amount of time, right? And we don't know what that is because God determines all of the days that are numbered on the earth for us.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what's my maximum return on time? People talk about return on investment. I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck about return on investment. I want a better return on time. Well, what's a better return on time is to find the right guys that can coach you and help you. And I talk about this all the time. I'm like, even Elon Musk has a coach, right? When he went to purchase Twitter, he hired a team of coaches to show him how to structure that transaction. He just didn't stroke a check.
Yeah.
No, that was a complex financial transaction that he needed a team of guys to help him put together, right? But he was smart enough to know that he couldn't do it on his own. And, now there's like a free speech platform in America where you can communicate and not get your hand slapped for saying what you really feel or think, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's pretty neat to think about that, right?
Yeah, totally, man. And like you touched on it perfectly. Like all these successful people, all these like high level characters throughout time, whether they were businessmen and whether they were kings, emperors, rulers, they all had counsel. You know what I mean? They all sought someone when it came time to make a decision, whether it was go to war or better provide for the people. So getting a coach or having a counsel or having a network of people that can guide you in the right direction it's not weakness, because that's what a lot of people think initially is like hiring a coach or getting a mentor is weak because I am not strong enough to do it on my own. And that's totally not the case. Like I think that's the smart, like of all the things I've done in my entire life, the times that I've taken money and chose to invest in myself and pay someone to learn or teach me something that would compress time or save me money or save me a little bit of effort in some way, shape, or form has been the best money ever spent. Because I've made dumb investments, man. Like I fucking bought into the Ethereum and the Bitcoin. I did the fucking water machines. I did the stupid get rich fast like schemes, and they never fucking worked. You know why? Because I never worked on myself. And as soon as I started working on myself, that was the best investment I could ever make. Like literally, like me putting down money and going into my EMT course and then into Fire Academy, first initial major investment in myself. And then that brought me into living a regimented and disciplined lifestyle. And then working in the fire service just kept compounding with that. And then I added a higher level of discipline with fitness and nutrition and getting around other high level people, like seeking people above my captains and my chiefs that were more successful in certain areas of life, because I got to a certain point where I was like, this is not going to cut it for me. This is not enough. I want more. So I have to do more. I have to get around people who are doing more. And what does that take? It takes not being afraid to ask for fucking help, and it takes putting some fucking money on the table. That's what you got to do. If you really want to get to that next level, you're going to have to invest money, time, and effort. It's not easy. It's just easier. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I want to bring up real quick, you guys talking about like the coaches and people think that they can figure it out for themselves. First of all, you haven't. So if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what will. But think about an IFBB pro bodybuilder has a nutrition coach, opposing coach, a training coach, an NFL football player. What do they have? Like offensive coaches, defensive coach. I mean, dude, everything at the highest level, they have more than one coach. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't send your kid to the soccer field and go, figure it out. Like every little kid has a soccer coach, right? And then the higher level you become, you just get more coaches. You don't get less.
Right.
And these are the elite people out there, like, I mean, yeah, some people can probably get pretty close to figuring out for themselves, but something I talk a lot about on my page too is perspective. Like if you've got eyes on you from a different perspective, like you guys are going to provide me two completely different perspectives about myself that I completely can't see because there's not a mirror in front of me, and I might think I'm doing something a certain way, but you guys see what I'm doing and you go, no, and you can provide that perspective. Dude, that's what the network provides. That's what the coach provides. Yeah, it's just funny it's arrogance a lot of the time, people just, yeah.
Well, I like to say I can solve everybody else's problems, right? But my own. I
said that the other day.
I can look at you in 2 seconds, like bang, 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 let's go. I got it all fixed up, right? But, it's really difficult to do that from the outside looking in or from the inside looking out. You need to be on the outside looking in, right? So, I can solve everybody else's problems but my own, and that's just really how it is for everybody, right? Yeah. Relationship problems, financial problems, business, whatever it is. And so I think back to, I went to college and did the stuff that they told me I should do. And, I've got these business mentors in college, but none of these guys are actively running a business. None of these guys are actively making money. They got a salary, right? And I never understood. I remember I had my own training business through college, and I was making good money, and more so than the guys with master's degrees and stuff. And I just had a few certifications, but I got this business guy teaching me business in a business class, and I'm like, has this guy ever ran a business? Well, no. Has he ever made millions of dollars? No. Has he ever done anything associated with a successful business? Well, no. Well, how the fuck am I going to listen to that dude, right? Versus somebody who's actually running a successful business, right? Like, do I have successful businesses right now? Yep. Am I actively involved in them? Yep. Are you actively up at 3 a.m. doing your burpees? Yep. Are you actively participating in your fitness regimen? Yes. Well, good. I want to listen to you, right? You can't imagine if a fitness coach was fat and out of shape.
There's too many of them these days, by the way.
Go to LA Fitness, dude.
Right.
The dudes are skinny and the chicks are fat, bro.
Yeah, so it's like, dude, how can I listen to you if you don't have any success? You know what I mean? So that's the real deal, right? It's like, where are your results? Do you have the experience? And so when we talk about coaching, go with the guys who are successful. Go with the guys who are actually doing what they're talking about, right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, practice what you preach, man.
Right.
That's the biggest thing too. And that's what I try to provide. Even my clients tell me, they're like, man, it juices me up so hard, seeing you actually out there grinding every day and putting in the work, and you're doing all the same stuff that you tell us to do. You're tracking your meals, you're meal prepping, you're getting up early as fuck, and you're just hammering. And that's but that's what you have to do, because in a sense, we're not just coaches, we're not just mentors, we're fucking leaders. Mm-hmm. Ideally you want to lead your people to greatness, but in order to lead people to greatness, you have to do something of greatness first. So if you're feeling like you haven't leveled up or you haven't gotten to where you want to be, get with someone who can bring you to a certain level of greatness, whether it's business, whether it's fitness, whether it's nutrition, some avenue of interest that's going to bring you to another level, that's going to make you more valuable, that's going to make you feel more valuable as a person, as a man. And then you can turn around and give that value back to the world.
Yeah, and speaking of being men and bringing the value to the world, so in my world, right, I've got my internal world, which is my family and my kids and stuff like that, and then I've got my external world, which is my network and the people that cross my path and so on and so forth. And you talked about it, we were having a good conversation, Taylor and I, about okay, what example do you want to be for your children, right? Like what example are you setting for, as a man for your boys, right? Or as a man for your girls, right? Who do you want them to bring home?
Totally.
If you're lazy and a bum, and not disciplined, do you want that to be the example that your daughter looks to? Do you want her to bring home a man that can't provide for her, right? That's in a dead-end job, that hates what he's doing, that's not fulfilled, that's drinking all the time? Or do you want her to bring home a successful dude that's motivated and that's going to carry on the family name and what you're doing, right? And so these are things that I think about a lot, right? It's okay, well, who do I want to be for my son? Who do I want my daughters to look up to? What kind of men do I want them to be attracted to, right? Who do I want over at my house at Thanksgiving, right? That's a big deal for me. I talk about that a lot. Okay, and teaching them, to look at not just the guy they're dating, but look at his family too, right? Because when, my girls are getting older, they're in high school and, they're dating and different stuff like that, which of course, I try and pretend doesn't happen, but the deal is it's okay, well, what's her dad do?
Yeah.
Right? Who are these people? Because I want to know, bro, because I don't want them coming over for Thanksgiving if they're not the type of people that I want to be around, right? So you got to look at somebody's network. Right? Who are they around, right? Who are they working with? What do their friends look like? What kind of occupations do they have? This says everything about who you are, right?
Totally.
So, yeah.
And it has to be action. You have to live it.
Yeah.
You can tell your kids whatever you want. Mm-hmm. But Wes says it, right? Your kids will always fail to listen to you, but they'll never fail to emulate you. I have a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 5-year-old, and that is 1,050% true. Mm-hmm. They do not listen to what I say a lot of the times, but I see them doing the same things that my wife and I do. Mm-hmm. And we are literally molding their psyche and their behavioral whatever for the rest of their lives right now. It has to be done through action. You have to lead, like you were talking about even with your clients and stuff. We both just recently quit our blue collar jobs this year. It'd be so easy for us to sleep in till 6, 8, 9 every day.
Right.
Dude, we're making money. We could be out there, eating ribeyes every day and not tracking our macros. Dude.
Yeah.
So funny little thing about me recently, right? We're coming into October. October's in a couple of days. I was like, dude, best shape of my life. I'm lean. Now I want to, put on some size again and get big. And I had to pull the reins in on myself. And I said, you know what? I need to actually drop my macros again, throw in more cardio, right? Because I'm not out there getting my 10,000 steps at work anymore. So I need to earn my keep, just throw in cardio. But I'm going to throw in even more than that. I want to get leaner, dude, because I got to have that discipline. If I go into a bulk, like I could be disciplined and regimented on a bulk, but I'm going to have that full feeling, right? I'm not going to have that hungry feeling. I'm going to have less training volume, right? Because that's how you do it. But I had to be like, no, I need at least another month of harder core discipline with this transition period in my life, leaving my job, because now I don't really have a reason. I don't have to be up at 3 and show up to work every day,
Yeah.
Wisdom right there, man, right?
Yeah, you have to increase your output because you're not doing the same things you're doing. I had to do the same thing, man. Like I had to I was a perfect example. Like you don't have to get up to be somewhere. There's no reason I have to get up first thing in the morning and go train before I go to the firehouse. There's no reason that I have to track my meals or do all this and that because I'm not reporting to anyone or anything anymore. I'm 100% on my own, but it's like in order to maintain that heightened level of discipline, I have to make my life more difficult in a sense. So I stay in that hunger area. I stay on my grind. I continue to sharpen my sword every fucking day rather than be like, oh, I can kick back now. Like this is my new life. This is everything that I've worked for, right? I get to relax now. Fuck that. We don't relax, dude. Like I'll relax when I'm done working. I'll get up at 3, I'll hammer out my workout, I'll do everything that I need to do. And that small window between like 9:30 and 3 o'clock in the morning, that's when I get to relax.
Right?
Well, real quick too, like how are we the most effective coaches and leaders if we're not practicing what we preach? Like you said, practice what you preach. Like if we went and changed, we're going to lose a lot of respect, I think. Like people see 3 a.m. on Saturday and they go, what's wrong with you, dude? But it's keeping that level of discipline. And I can't ask somebody to do something that I'm not going to be willing to do myself.
100%.
Yeah, so I've trained a few dogs, right? With bite protection and different canine training and stuff like that. And, I had this one dog, he was a Dutch Shepherd. And, I'm working with the trainer and he's like, man, this dog's not listening. What's going on? And it came to, pass that I was feeding him too much, right? He's like, he's not hungry. He's not disciplined. He's getting lazy. He's getting soft. He's getting fat, And so I had this high level dog that literally like shut down and wasn't doing as good because I was feeding him too much. And we're exactly the same, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like we got to stay hungry. And so, that's part of being lean, right? Like fat and happy.
Yeah.
Fat and lazy,
There's a level of complacency that goes along with being full. And that's why they talk about like some of that enlightenment stuff that comes from the fasting and basically choosing a level of like, chosen starvation in a sense. But when I feel like, and I don't necessarily practice fasting, but I understand the ideology and I respect it because I can understand it just a little bit. But like you said, when you put yourself in that state of hunger, like it's almost like a fight or flight response.
Yeah.
When you're hungry, you're going to fight because you're hungry to win. You're hungry to succeed. When you're fat and happy and you're complacent, you're like, I don't have to do that. I don't have to work as hard. It's going to come to me regardless. So when you stay in that hunger state, and you put yourself in it through fasting, you have that fight in you. You have that fucking dog in you. You know what I mean? And like even my clients, they're like, dude, I'm hungry all the time. I'm like, get used to it, bro. That's cutting. Like you want to know why you haven't had a successful cut before? Because you let yourself eat. And I'm not trying to starve you out, but there's a difference between building discipline and there's a difference between starving. You're not starving, you're just building discipline right now. We'll get to starving. That'll be your last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I can remember when I sold my company, I've lived in a state of like fight or flight for so long. I sold my company. I had more money than I ever had in my entire life. I woke up the next day and I was like in a panic. I'm like, oh shit, I sold the river for a water storage tank was kind of the analogy that I used, right? And I was up at 5 a.m. I had a big party the night before, music, catering, a bunch of people over, real, fun time. But I woke up at 5 a.m. and I'm like, oh shit, because I know instinctively that if I don't stay hungry, I'm potentially going to lose everything, right? And if I get complacent. And so I literally started writing a new contract and building a new company the next day. And that was completely converse to my plan. My plan on paper was like, I'm going to take 6 months off and I'm going to kick it. And then once I was in that position, I knew instinctively that would fuck me, right? Like I literally would not build another, I would get in that system of like just kicking it and I'd probably be, not successful anymore. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? Well, the only thing I know is back to work, so.
People think, like they ask me, they probably ask you, oh, how's retirement life? Oh, must be nice to not have a job anymore. All I have is more freedom with how I schedule my time. But dude, it's 24/7, dude, and turning off the river, like you said, like that constant like flow of income that I used to get, even though the number was pretty small. Like, dude, I wake up scared sometimes, bro. I'm like, dude, this is way new, bro.
Yeah. It's hard though, man, because I get that, and I have that same mentality almost when I left Cal Fire. I'm like, shit, dude, like it's just me now. But I had already been so disciplined in my routine. I'm like, I got this, bro. All I have to do is keep doing the same shit I've been doing for the last 6 to 8 months, 12 months that I've been doing all day, every day, with a full schedule. Now I just have more time and energy and attention to demand to it. So I have to structure my time, my day. I have to just be a better manager of my life and not like let myself slip. Because it's easy to do when you get handed a lot of extra time. You're like, oh, dude, I could kick it. I could put my phone down for a little bit. But it's like, no, dude, like there is no downtime. Like this is literally the longest period of time that I've been away from my laptop, and it's been like a little over 24 hours. And part of me is like freaking the fuck out, like, oh fuck, I got clients I need to get back to. I got to send this out. I got to do that. I got to check plans and macros and this and that. But it's like, I'm still handling some business on my phone. I'm here learning. I'm here networking. Like my business is growing right now. So I will continue to grow, and I will implement the same level of discipline and time structure as soon as I get home.
100%. Yeah, it's like 2 steps forward, right? And sometimes you got to go backwards in order to go forward again, right? You know, like we talk about like the reset of the body after a cut. Sometimes you change your set point by cutting, right? So you run a big carb deplete, you get leaner and smaller than you've ever been, and then that's how you get bigger. Right? So, we're here together. We're talking about business. We're talking about scaling. We're talking about all these systems and different stuff that needs to be done for you guys with your recent success.
Yeah.
And it's like, it kind of feels like you're going backwards a little bit, right? And you might be because, the work's stacking up or whatever, but this is what's required to go forwards. You got to break it down sometimes in order to go to the next level.
Totally.
Right?
Totally. You have to slow down in certain areas, and you have to make sure that your house is in order. Just like you put your body in order, right? You got your macros, you got your workout plan, you got all this laid out. So now your body, like business, your business has gotten to a certain point where it's like, okay, what now? So where do I need to tighten up in these areas so I can continue to grow? Yeah. So and that's where I feel like I'm at right now. Like I had like kind of like what some people would call an off month, but I've been restructuring some things. I'm changing a slight approach. I want to tighten up my game in certain areas. So when I hit another exponential growth, my game is fucking tight and I can handle it. I can take on another 300, 400 fucking clients and not be losing my shit. Because that's the first question I get from some of these people is like, how many clients you got? And I'm like, I think I'm upwards of like 280 something right now. And they're like, how do you stay on top of it? And I'm like, I got a regiment, I have a system, and it's super effective. And they're like, holy shit, but I need to continuously pay attention to that structure and that regiment. So when that number doubles, triples, quadruples over the next course of the couple of years, I'm not pulling my fucking hair out trying to keep tabs on everybody. Because right now I got it super finite. It's easy for me to do. But, getting around people that have expertise in other areas, that shit will help me tighten up my game and get better.
Yeah. So like, what do you guys think would happen if you didn't get around people and you weren't open to coaching and you weren't, considering, okay, how do I get to the next level? How do I handle this success? Coming to guys like me and bringing up guys like Taylor, like how do you think your life would go if you weren't open to that?
You're signing a death certificate.
Bro,
You're fucking
that's powerful, right?
like
Yeah.
if you don't want to do stuff that's gonna make you in a sense continuously a little bit more uncomfortable. If you don't want to learn and grow and get around other people that are high level, you might as well just shut your fucking doors and call it a day. Because if you're not learning, you're not growing, you're dying. Like,
Yeah.
Plain and simple, you're dying.
And that's how I'm sure you felt at your job prior to coming into the coaching space and doing something different, right? Like show up every day, you feel like you're dying, right? Like,
Can I tell you guys a story?
let's do it.
Okay, so a little less than a year ago, I I was getting text messages from my bank like every day for a week straight, sometimes multiple times a day. Ding, account overdraft. Ding, account overdraft.
Wow.
Right? Mortgage would come out and I had no money, dude, until I got paid again. And then all I was doing was just paying back that savings account that my overdraft notices were coming out of. And everybody around me is telling me, dude, you've got this great career. Like, you've got this great job. You make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like, we have a modest house, right? We had, like, a car payment for my wife's car. I drive an old 1997 pickup truck. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we don't go out to eat anymore. I would tell my wife, listen, the kids are just going to have to wear the clothes that are too small, right? Because we didn't have money to buy it. Like on my 5th wedding anniversary, that's like a milestone. My wife told me you're supposed to buy like a rock or some flour. I don't even know what you're supposed to get, but there's something you're supposed to do, right? Something made out of wood. I don't know. But you know what I mean? I couldn't even buy her flowers for our 5th wedding anniversary because I had $0 in my bank account.
Damn.
But I was tapped out, bro.
Yeah.
I was at the highest level in one of the higher paying local unions for like a blue collar dude, right? And where was I going to go from there? There was no up
Yeah.
from there. You know what I mean? Maybe I become a foreman, right? Because I wasn't a foreman, but that's $2 in a truck and gray hair at 30 years old.
Yeah.
So that wasn't worth it to me because I had the family and I wasn't willing to, put that time away from them because I'm never going to get these years back with my kids. They're 2, 3, and 5. Like, I have to be home for them. So I'll take $2 less an hour. But dude, I wasn't going to go anywhere. I paid Brad a large sum of money that I literally didn't have. I put it on a credit card. But that's the mentality you have to have sometimes is you just got to be like, okay, picking up my balls, full send. I'm investing in myself. There's no
100%.
turning back from here. Because if I kept putting in the exact same amount of effort that I was putting in at my job for the rest of my life, nothing was ever going to change.
I talk about that a lot, man. I'm like, in order to be successful in life, you have to have a lot of faith.
Yeah.
Right? And people will tell me like, oh, I got this great job working for this company. I work for HP or Oracle or whatever. And I'm like, bro, those guys will drop you so fucking fast. Like, if you're putting your hope and your dreams and your family's life in the hands of a corporation, right, that doesn't care about you, you've got it all twisted. Because at the end of the day, it's between you and God. Right? Like, how much faith do you have that your ability to wake up every day and dominate the situation and take action is going to yield results?
Totally.
Right? And sometimes you don't see those results right away, right? We talk about fitness and it might take 6 months to get shredded and lean and, it's for your body composition to start to change, right? But every day you go to the gym, you have faith that, like, it's going to work.
Compounded
It's going to
interest.
work, right? I remember, I lost everything in 2008 and had to start over, and I moved into a double wide trailer, and I was working in a little lean-to shop that I converted to my guest house, right? It's a fucking joke. But I painted it all up. I made it as nice as possible, and I'm there every single day. I'd wake up at 5 o'clock, I'd get in there at 6, and I'd lock the door until 6 p.m. at night. Literally, I'd work 12 hours a day. And I didn't get any results for like 8 months, bro. I didn't make a dime, right? And like, people were telling me, hey, you need to get a real job. Like, hey, you're a dreamer, right? Like, you've got these kids and they're depending on you. And I can get you a job at a factory making $21 an hour. And there's a good opportunity. And I'm just like, I'm arguing with God, dude. I'm like, dude, like, I need some fucking results here, right? Finally, I was just like, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm going to do this every day till I fucking die.
Yep.
And like, whatever happens, happens. I don't care. I literally gave up. I was just like, I'm going to enjoy the process so much and never quit and fuck the results. It doesn't matter. And all of a sudden, bro, I got like closed a deal.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Close another deal, right? And next thing you know, I'm like, fucking buying a house again, right? Moving out of the trailer, you know? And it's just like, it all stacked up for me like that. But literally what I had to do was like, let go of the outcomes, enjoy the process, and work so fucking hard and care so much about doing a good job for my clients and the people I was working with, that like, that's all that mattered to me, right? Just every day I'm gonna be this disciplined and this regimented, and I'm gonna leave the results to the good Lord above, and I don't give a fuck. And like, then it started to happen again, right? But when I was just focused on like the outcome, right? Like, I got to get rich. I got to make money. No, bro, that's not what it is, right? The enjoying the process, that the outcomes are inevitable. That's the key to success, right? And that requires discipline, hard work, and the most important ingredient, a lot of faith. When you quit your job, you had to have a lot of faith, right? You got 3 kids, right? A wife, a house, a mortgage. You're like, dude, you know, I used to work for this big construction company that's, you know, reputable and da-da-da-da, and I've got a W-2 paycheck, right? Your faith was not where it should be, right? And so you made a decision to put your faith where it should be in yourself and leave the results to the good Lord above, and guess what? It's working out. Yeah. So that's the name of the game.
And just like that same thing too, the network you have. You know, there's always gonna be naysayers. The people are like, oh, dude, don't do that. You want to play it safe. Like, you got a family. Fuck that shit, dude. Like, I remember me and Taylor had this conversation a handful of times. Like, you know, like, oh, I want to leave. And then he finally got to a certain point. And I'm like, dude, you're there. Fucking do it. Like, you got this shit, man. Like, you're already doing it. Why wouldn't you be able to keep doing it? You know, and I had to have that reality with myself when I was leaving CAL FIRE. You know, like, I was afraid to leave CAL FIRE because CAL FIRE was, not only is it safe, but it was a job that I worked really fucking hard to get. And I was terrified to just hang it up. Right. You know what I mean? I put a lot of time and a lot of effort to get there. And I'm like, fuck, man, I feel like I'm just throwing that all away. But I had to realize that everything I did to get to that point was just a stepping stone for me to step into something bigger and higher. Just like you, bro. Like, you fucking got to a certain point, you made an investment, you took the risk, you had the faith, and then you made the leap. And it's just a matter of time. You're just going to continue to grow like we all are. We're all here to help each other and encourage each other to do bigger things. You know, like, and that's the foundation of all this, man. You know, you have the fitness, the nutrition, the mindset, the network to grow and succeed anywhere. You know what I mean? And I told Garrett this one of the first times we talked on the phone. I was like, I'll take 4 solid motherfuckers over anybody and we'll take over the goddamn world. And I put my life on that shit.
Yeah.
It's 100% true, dude. And the feeling of fulfillment that you get providing the value that you provide to people, right? The tools to like change their life and just flip it on their head is so much more fulfilling than you'll ever get at any job. You know, moving dirt or, you know, hammering nails, or I mean, it's fun and it's fulfilling for you, right? Like, I'm fulfilled after a hard day of work when I'm all covered in dirt and sweat and stuff, but the only person I really served was myself.
Yeah.
People that are going to drive on that road don't care. But but the person that calls me and tells me, hey man, I'm under 200 pounds for the first time in 15 years, and I didn't think I was ever going to get there again.
Right.
When you have a guy that's tried everything, he tried the gym thing, he tried the diet thing, and he's got diabetes, right? And he was struggling. Dude. But he calls you and he tells you, my A1C level is lower than it's ever been. I am the best looking and I feel the best than I have in over a decade or even longer. Like, that feels so much better.
Better than money, bro. That's the best thing. You know, and that's just like the quote I posted this morning on my Instagram, on my story, you know, like, you know, you can't become rich unless you are enriching others around you.
Wow.
You know, from Earl Nightingale. That dude's G, by the way. But it's like, it's so true, man. Like, I could give a fuck about the money, like Garrett was saying. You have to enjoy the process. You have to enjoy doing what you do, and you have to love it. You have to be passionate about it. And these people that we're helping, and they really are changing their lives, you know? Like Taylor said, dude, I got guys that come to me and they're like, I've worked out, I've tracked macros, I've done this and that. But we make those small tweaks and they're like, dude, I've gotten more results, more success in 90 days than I did in the last 7 years. You know what I mean? And then the same on the other end of the spectrum, the dudes who have like underlying health conditions that are like coming for the first time, all of their stats, their blood work, you know, is all within normal limits. And they're like, dude, you basically saved my fucking life. You know, like that is the best feeling in the whole world. You know, that someone can basically throw you a little chunk of change and you can completely change their whole life. Now those dudes are gonna go, they're gonna be around longer for their family, they're gonna be a better leader for their family. Their kids are gonna probably see them, you know, working out, eating right. That's gonna change their lifestyle choices for years to come. Like, it's a fucking compounding ripple effect, dude. I tell my clients this all the time. I'm like, keep doing what you're doing. You might feel lonely, you might feel, you know, alone right now because you're basically having to remove yourself from a lot of these people that are still doing negative shit. But it's like they're watching, they're paying attention, and then soon you're gonna build enough momentum that it's contagious and it's gonna rub off on them. They might not tell you, they might not admit it, but they're gonna fucking start following suit. You know what I mean? So in the end of it, it's like you just become that leader for people, and what you can give them, whether they pay you or whether they just start paying attention, is insane. I had a guy message me on Instagram. He's not even on my program. He's not even a paying client, but apparently he watches my content like daily, and he told me, he's like, I literally didn't kill myself because of the videos that you post on Instagram. And I'm like, holy fuck, dog. Like, are you serious?
Wow.
I'm like,
Dude.
heavy as fuck, you know? But it's like, you know, you just tell people, like I told him, like, man, life is worth living, bro. Like, I'll tell you this much right now. There was times in my life where I wanted to give up, I wanted to throw it all in, but like, life is fucking beautiful, dog. And if you can give life back to somebody, that is like that is the best gift in the whole world.
Yeah, I think back to like all my accomplishments with business and different stuff like that. And you know, when I really take inventory and think about like, okay, what am I most proud of? I'll tell you the story of what I'm most proud of. One of the things anyway. So, you know, I was running my own training business, and this lady brought this young kid. His name was Thomas to me, 16-year-old kid, right? He was about 300 pounds. His dad died about, 10 months prior. You know, I grew up. My dad died when I was young, and I understood kind of what the dynamic was there. She's like, he put on 100 pounds. I don't know what to do. He wouldn't look me in the eye. He wouldn't talk to me. So I was like, hey, you need to leave the room. Let me just talk to him a little bit, right? She's like, I'm like, yeah, Marsha, just leave the room. It's okay. Let me talk to him. I'm like, listen, buddy. I'm like, if you do what I say, I can help you and we can fix your life right now. I'm like, I level with them. My dad died when I was young. I know what you're going through. It's all fucked up. There's nothing anybody can say that's going to make it better. It's never going to get better, just so you know. It's just not going to get better. But I can help you out if you do what I say. He's like, okay, I'll do it. I'm like, all right, cool. So this kid trained with me 3 times a week. He lost 100 pounds, and he became the homecoming king.
Yeah.
Like straight up, bro. Jeez. And it's like, when you ask me, like, okay, well, what are you most proud of? It's probably that.
That's
right?
awesome.
And he went from not looking you in the eye, down and out. I mean, he got himself a girlfriend. He became confident. He became strong. And it was like, that was pretty cool, right?
Super cool, bro.
And so, like, that's probably one of my best accomplishments is helping Thomas, right?
Yeah.
And so, like you said, you fought fires, you participated in this organization, you done all this stuff. Well, what are you most proud of? Probably the guy that didn't pay you $1 that you helped not kill himself.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's it.
Yeah. No, that being able to provide a service that people really truly value and can, like, in a sense, change the outcome of the rest of their life is the best level of service, I think, in my entire life. It took a while for me to realize that I could have a bigger impact on the world with my coaching business than I would as a firefighter.
Yeah.
And that's a trip to even think about. You
Right.
know what I mean? Because everybody's like, get into the fire service. Well, I want to serve. I want to fight fire. I want to help people. Okay,
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, like, I was chained to that idea for a while, like thinking like, well, this is the only way I can help people. This is the only way I can serve. I was fucking dead wrong. Like, there are so many different ways that you can serve your fellow man or woman. And you don't have to wear a uniform. You don't have to wear a badge. You don't have to show up and collect a check. You can just do it. You can just help people. Whether it's giving them some pointers, whether it's getting a fit, whether it's helping them with business. Like, helping people get further in life is what we're supposed to do for each other. You know what I mean? Like, that's the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you would do for yourself. We're all out here fucking trying to do better, right? Well, how do we do better? We help other people do better.
Yeah.
That's the game, bro. That's the fucking game.
Dude, and social media is so important in that nowadays, right? Because like we were talking about earlier, dude, your reach, right?
Yeah.
At the fire station, you're reaching your boys, right? That are staying for your shift. For me, it was like the guys on my crew. But dude, you've got 2 million eyeballs on you, or I'm sorry, 4 million, because we've got 2 apiece, most of us, right? in 30 days.
Yeah.
And you're reaching and providing value to that many people. So there's so many people, you know, that are like, I'll never have an Instagram, like that's so lame. Dude, if you share a positive message on social media, you can affect so many people's lives versus just hiding out at home in your cave and it's the 4 people in front of you, you know?
Selfish. It's selfish.
It's selfish.
Is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're too afraid to put your feelings and your emotions and your experiences online. And it's hard to do. Don't get me wrong. That was like one of the hardest things that I had to do like when I was getting started in this. I'm like, workout's easy. Opening up about the past. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I gotta
no
do
thanks.
that. But that's how people connect, dude, because everybody does this like individual lone rider bullshit where they think they're the only motherfucker dealing with that problem at that time. Where like the whole world has that problem to some degree. So if you could open up and share your personal experience about how you dealt with it, what you did to get through it, and what you're doing now, dude, you have no idea how many people you're affecting and how many people you're possibly helping.
Right.
So like, don't be afraid to speak on it. Like, I think if you're afraid to touch on things in your past, like yes, it's an obstacle. It takes time to get there, but work on it. Just like everything else you do, like Garrett's saying, like Taylor's saying, you know, like fitness, it doesn't happen overnight. You just compounded interest of work every day. Just do a little bit every day. Work on sharing something, whether it's a 10-second story or just writing it out and posting it. Like your experience in life could possibly help someone else deal with their current experience.
Mm-hmm. I was like that for a long time. I'm like, no social media. I'm going to hide out, right? Like, I don't want anything to do with the world. I don't want anyone to, like, be a part of my life. Super private guy, right? Yeah. And in my network or my little existence that I had, I didn't really meet a lot of people that I wanted to interact with.
Right.
So I had this, like, misconception of the fact that, like, well, I don't really like anybody. And it's like, well, I actually do like a lot of people. I just wasn't encountering the type of people that I like on my day-to-day basis, right? Mm-hmm. And so by putting myself out there, I've had the opportunity to meet guys like you and guys like Zune and these other individuals that have positively affected my life to a major extent, right?
Totally.
But in my little bubble, I'm not seeing these individuals, right? And I'm having the misperception that they don't exist. Right? I'm like, there's no good dudes in the world anymore. Everybody's fucked up, right? Like, everyone's a piece of shit. I can't deal with this, you know? But it's because, like, when I go to the grocery store, some asshole, like, you know, rubs me the wrong way or whatever. But it's like, that's an isolated incident, right? But on social media, I can find my tribe. I can connect with people that understand me better, right?
Yeah.
And I'm still coming to terms with, like, what all that looks like and putting myself out there and dealing with certain issues about the past and whatever. But the point is, like, you'll never do that if you don't try.
Right.
And again, it boils down to faith, right? Like, put yourself out there in faith that you'll find your tribe in your network, whether it's the blue collar guys, whether it's the business guys, whatever it is, because they exist out there, right? And like, we're supposed to be in community. You know, there's a great verse in the Bible, iron sharpens iron, you know? And it's like, okay, well, what's that mean? Well, what that means to me is when I find other guys that are successful or more successful than I, that I can bounce ideas off them, they're going to make me better.
Totally.
So if you don't have social media in today's world, especially because there's no real interaction and everybody's on their damn phones, it's really difficult to find that.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to find that at the gym when, like, Taylor and I, oh, what's up, dog?
Yep.
See ya.
Or the bar.
or
Or the bar or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
We're 400 or 500 miles away from each other. How would we have found out about each other if it wasn't for Instagram?
Right. It never happened.
A lot of people talk about Instagram. Oh my gosh, it's such a curse. It's such a negative thing in my life. It's like, dude, you can use it as a blessing or you can use it as a curse.
Right.
And it depends on what you click on and what you put out there. Right?
Your input is your output.
Yeah.
You know, if you're following all the wrong things online, like prime example, dude, my Instagram used to be filled with motorcycles, half naked chicks, like pool parties, all this shit, right? Like all this, like, oh fuck, that's like what I want my time to be consumed with. Wrong. And I wondered why my life was in the fucking dumps, you know, because I was focusing on all the wrong things, focusing on all those guilty pleasures, all that instant satisfaction. You know what I mean? But then, you know, fast forward a couple years and now I'm like focusing on nothing but growth and building and being successful and putting myself around other successful people and investing in my life, investing in my future. My whole feed is filled with motherfuckers who are doing the same thing as me or doing better than me. Mm-hmm. And I'm continuously growing. I'm continuously elevating my life. Why is that? Because my input is my output.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to fucking, create, put yourself into that scenario. And it's the easiest way to do it is with social media. Start following people. Fill your feed full of people who you want to start living life and do things like.
Right. Yeah, you want to be a great boxer, you go to a boxing gym where everyone can beat you up, right? And I talk about this a lot. And then, you train and you get beat up and you just continue to surround yourself with the best guys. And one day you might win a round.
Yeah.
Right? And you got better. Right? And this is how you get good at whatever it is, whether it's wrestling, whether it's fitness, whether it's coaching, it's business. Just find the right guys that are better than you. Surround yourself with them and just try and level up a little bit every day and get better. And over time, you'll look back and be like, whoa, I quit my job, right?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm making $50,000 a month. Wow, I'm making $100,000 a month. Like, holy shit. Like, now I've got this other series of problems, right? How do I deal with those? Okay, well, let's go to a guy that's had those problems before, right? And he'll teach us how to do it, and then you just cut in line. And you compress that time, and that's what a winning mentality is all about. Great. So, hey, before we hit the ride and go kind of show these guys how we live and the fun shit we like to do, what's one piece of advice that you could give somebody that may have lost everything or is just starting out and kind of lace them up with some game?
So I think the most powerful thing that you could do is have self-belief. There's so much negativity in the world, and us as human beings are inherently negative. But if you can believe in yourself to achieve whatever it is you want to work towards or whatever you want to accomplish, you're already halfway there. I fortunately have always been very strong-willed, hard-headed. So like if I tell myself I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna fucking do it. So believe in yourself, tell yourself you can do it, and it's gonna take risk, but risk is reward. Those long days and those late nights, it's all going to pay off, but you have to believe in yourself to make it happen first. If you don't believe in yourself, if you continuously tell yourself, I can't do this, it's not going to happen for me, I'm never going to break through the other side, you might as well just quit right then and there, because it'll never fucking happen with that mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say mindset, but since that's already been said, what I would say is on top of that, because it's twofold, right? You can't stop putting in work on yourself. Mm-hmm. You always have to put in work on yourself, because I use the analogy like when you're on an airplane and the oxygen mask drops down, you're supposed to put on yours first so that you're set, right? And you're not going to pass out trying to put it on your kids, maybe not get it, and then you and your kids die, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to put your best foot forward in every single scenario. You have to be the best version of yourself. You can't neglect that. You can't solve everybody else's problems until you've solved yours, and then you're ready to help.
Boom.
Right. So work on your own personal development first and foremost, right? And continue to do that until the end of time.
Yeah.
Because that's what served you in the very first place, right? So I like it, man. Well, I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you.
Bro.
We're not done yet, but
Never done,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
hell no.
And thank you for the hospitality, having us out, showing
Yeah,
us
man.
around last night, getting to rip. It's
man.
been a blast so far, and like you said, we ain't done yet.
Pleasure.
amazing.
Let's go.